Hello there, this is Nasser. I'm gonna give you small tutorials about web automation testing. In this tutorial, we're gonna know the definition of web automation testing, what it do, how it works, the technologies and tools are used, benefits and challenges, unit testing, and what should be automated. So, let's start by defining what's the meaning of web automation testing. Well, it's using a software tool to run a repeatable tests against the application to be tested on all web browsers. If it were a Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari on different operating systems without any human intervention, the human will only be an observer. He will not do any action. So, what web automation do? It automatically tests your web application in a good way to ensure that new versions of your application don't introduce bugs and regression. And it also allows your development team to make changes and refactor code with more confidence. So how it works? Well, in general, we're gonna talk here about the automation testing mechanism, but specifically we're gonna aim for the web automation testing. So first, already scripted code will interact with the Selenium server, if it was a Mac, Linux, or even a Windows, and this will launch the browser. And once the browser driver is ready to use, it will give us a notification to start using it by our already implemented code in the framework. And this code will simulate the human actions, click, scroll, enter text, etc. All the interactions, all the actions will be translated to the website's elements. Technologies and tools are used. The software tool might be free open source, such as Selenium or Water, and might be paid, such as HB, Unified Functional Testing, Eggplant Functional Smart Bear. But we are using Selenium and Protractor as web automation tools. Okay, so mainly we use Selenium and small used for black box testing, but there are some exceptions. So, to use these tools, we need to create a framework to connect our actions with the browser driver. For example, we use JUnit and TestNG, but there's a lot more like NUnit, JUnit, TestNG, and there's a lot more frameworks. So maybe the questions now is what programming language automation use or what we need to use in automation testing? Well, you can work with any language you have, and that depends on your need. Which means, like if you're gonna use Java, you're gonna use another framework that would fit Java programming language. So, the benefits and the challenges. Well, web automation testing is not always a smooth sailing. It's an investment. As with any investment, it faces challenges and it might have some problems. But that doesn't mean not using them. So let's talk a bit more about the challenges that you might face. Well, maybe poor bandwidth. Well, poor bandwidth or slow network speed is another challenge for the tester. When it comes to the perform website testing, poor bandwidth may cause some components within a website to be downloaded with a time lag. This could cause the errors to be thrown up during testing. So, if you are testing any website, it's important that you consider the aspect to test web application more effectively. Well, tests should be dynamic. What that mean? Well, actually, it might be the most important challenge. Create new test cases and update all test cases for each sprint, which means that your test cases should be up to date. Some people think automation means you can sit and forget your software testing. Well, it's not. That the script should be updated every time. Each time there's a sprint being pushed, you have to update your code. So if the application on Windows stopped working after a Mac application version, well, you need to update and you need to fix that. And some other challenges are exclusive for Selenium WebDriver, such as dealing with pop-up windows or testing Flash applications, timeout resulting from synchronizations problems. So what about benefits? Well, optimization of speed, efficiency, quality, and decrease of cost. All of these are benefits, but the main goal in software development process is a timely release. Automated tests run fast and frequently due to reused modules within different tests. Automated regression tests which ensure that the continuous of your system, and your systems will be stable and functional after any change the software made. Well, that will lead to shorter development cycle, combined with a better quality software, and the benefits automated testing quickly outgain the initial cost. Increase of test coverage. Sufficient test coverage of software projects is often achieved only with great effort. Frequent repetition of the same or similar test case is laborious and time consuming to perform that manually. So, some examples are regression test after debugging or further development of software, or testing of software on different platforms or with different configurations. Data-driven testing, that means the creation of tests using the same actions but with many different inputs. So now what is unit testing? It's the level of software testing are unit testing, then integration testing, then system testing, then acceptance testing. From the name we can realize that we are talking about testing certain functions and areas or units, let's say, for our code, which means that we isolate the smallest testable part of the application from the remainder of the code and determine whether it behaves exactly as expected or not. So basically, each unit is tested separately before integrating them into modules to test the interfaces between modules. So now the method used for unit testing is white box testing. It's used to execute the unit testing. So maybe you are wondering now when unit testing should be done. Well, unit testing should be done before integration testing. Advantages of unit testing. Issues are found at early stage. Well, since unit testing are carried out by developers, where they test their individual code before the integration. Hence, the issues can be found very clearly and can be resolved then, and there without impacting the other piece of code. Unit testing helps in maintaining and changing the code. This is possible by making the code less interdependent, so that unit testing can be executed. Hence, chances of impact of change to any other codes get reduced. Since the bugs are found early in unit testing, hence it also helps in reducing the cost of bug fixes. Just imagine that the cost of bug found during the later stage of development, like during system testing or during acceptance testing. What should be automated? This is a very strong question to know where you're heading for. Repetitive tests that run for multiple builds. When you're investing time in writing automated tests, then you are losing time you could be using to find bug manually. That lost time would be payoff over the time if your test continue to be valid for an appropriate amount of time for it to be worth. Well, the second thing is tests that tend to cause human errors. I guess this one is obvious, but there are quite a few things that computers are just better at compared to humans. Humans make mistakes, while computers nearly do not. A simple spelling error or a slip of finger while typing will cause your script to be unrecognizable and unreadable. Or by typing in phone number wrong by just one number, it becomes useless. This is when the monetized details should be left to automation, where human errors won't cause your problem. Third is tests that require multiple datasets. For data-driven testing, it's beneficial to automate the process of testing applications, where the same function must be tested and validated with large amount of data inputs. Fourth thing is the tests that are impossible to perform manually. This means load and performance testing, which has no manual testing alternative. Fifth thing is the tests that take a lot of effort and time when manual testing. There could be a simple test case that would be extremely very hard to perform by a tester and will take a lot of time, causing a grief for the user. Imagine having to test opening up 500 documents in order to check that the application does not crash. Well, automation can take care of that for you, so don't worry. I hope you can find this video helpful for you, and thank you for watching.